After much speculation and the internet going crazy over whether or not Nintendo was going to host a Nintendo Direct, we did get a Nintendo Direct Mini. After all of the crazy events on social media, were all of the announcements as good as people were expecting? Let's talk about that right now. Hey everybody, what's going on? Juan here. Welcome back to the channel. And yes, Nintendo did host their Nintendo Direct Mini today on January 11th, revealing a lot of new things for the Nintendo Switch. Now, some of these things aren't necessarily new. They're new for the Switch, but they were made available beforehand on the Wii U. But a lot of people, myself included, did not have a Wii U. So we have, as a result, a very mixed community. Some people happy like myself because these are games that we had never gotten our hands on. But other people are going, well, I already had a Wii U, so give me something new. So I would love to know your reactions to the Nintendo Direct Mini down below. And before we actually get to the game reveals, I gotta applaud Nintendo because they played this off perfectly. I mean, they went to social media and basically promoted nothing, and everybody was speculating. They were looking at all sorts of images, trying to dissect the messages or lack of messages that Nintendo was sending out. And then you had all sorts of different developers and publishers getting involved, and then just everybody was speculating, is this going to be the biggest Nintendo Direct of all time? It was not. As a matter of fact, they called it a mini, and I think it's smart that they called it a mini so people had their realistic expectations. So without further ado, let's get to the reveals from the Nintendo Direct Mini. First up, The World Ends With You is going to be coming out to the Nintendo Switch. This is a game that was released originally on the Nintendo DS in 2007. Later, it was released to Android and iOS devices, and I never played it, but I always heard people talk about this game in a magnificent way, to the point where it's many people's not just favorite DS game, but favorite game of all time. Now, that game used a lot of touchscreen support, so when people were speculating whether or not Nintendo would eventually port it to a modern-day system, people were just thinking to themselves, well, how would they really go about it? They're going to get the best of both worlds because you will be getting the touch support if you played on handheld mode, but if you are on a television, you actually can end up using the Joy-Cons. So this isn't just going to be the old game ported to the Nintendo Switch. Not only is it going to get modern-day controller support, it's also going to have a brand new side quest, which apparently it's going to expand on the main story, but as I mentioned, it's a side quest. It's completely optional, so you can enjoy the original thing, and people like myself can now finally get their hands on The World Ends With You on a high-definition format later this year. The second game that I want to get to now is called Kirby Star Allies, which is going to be coming out to the Switch on March 16th. Now, this is a more traditional Kirby game. People have craved a traditional Kirby game for years. I love them, and I love how beautiful the graphics are. The fact that you can play with up to 4 different people, in one screen. So think about having a Joy-Con, that's 2 players. You have another friend that comes over, that's 4 players total if you just have the Joy-Cons. And I've never been a passionate fan of Kirby. That sounds kind of weird. I've never desperately loved, that doesn't sound, I never loved these games, okay? I liked them, and I learned about Kirby thanks to Super Smash Brothers, as a matter of fact. I later on went back to play some of the games on the Super Nintendo, and thanks to the Super Nintendo Classic, I have gotten my hands on even more Kirby goodness. So I'm excited to play this one very soon later this year. The third game on the list that I'm talking about is also seeing its third re-release with Hyrule Warriors. Now, this game originally came out to the Wii U, later came out to the Nintendo 3DS, and now we're going to get our hands on it on a portable but high-definition format in the Nintendo Switch. And for the most part, it's going to be the game that you played and that you liked or hated. This is very much Dynasty Warriors with Zelda characters. And I've talked about Dynasty Warriors previously. I think those are fun games to sort of goof off, kill some time. So you add the Zelda characters, and that would make a lot of people happy. And you're not just going to get the traditional game, you're also going to be getting access to the downloadable content from the 3DS and the Wii U version in this game, and you're also going to be getting some Breath of the Wild costumes for Zelda and Link. So look forward to this one on spring 2018, which basically translates between the months of March and June. So it's still not too far off. Okay, here we go, folks, because with game number 4, we're going to be talking about Mario Tennis Aces. Now, I love playing Mario Tennis on the N64, on the GameCube, and now we're going to get our hands on one for the Nintendo Switch. And not just that, if you're happy enough and you haven't read too much more about this, you should be pumped because they're going to be adding something that was missing from these games for a long time, and that was a traditional story mode. So it's going to have custom challenges. And for people like myself, this is awesome, especially if you just want to pick up the game, you don't have company over, and you don't just want to battle CPU. This is the best combination. Plus, think about it, with the portability of the Switch, with these split Joy-Cons, you have people coming over and you can easily do like a 2-on-2 or a 1-on-1 battle with a game like this. So I think that this is easily going to be one of the highest selling games of 2018. And this one also comes out on spring of 2018. The fifth game that I'm going to cover, I don't really know too much about. It is Yes, 8 Lacrimosa of Dana. I really hope I said that well. This is going to be coming out to the Switch in summer of 2018. This is an action RPG that is already available on places like the PlayStation 4 and the PC. So this is not a brand new title, but we're slowly seeing more action RPGs in general making their way to the Nintendo Switch, which is great because think about it. If you're somebody that's working a lot, you're traveling a lot, you're on the train, you're on the road, this gives you access to play games that are maybe too lengthy that if you just played them at home, you would never finish. So games like Xenoblade Chronicles and now Yes 8 are perfect on the Nintendo Switch. And it looks pretty cool. It has different weapon types. You can check out the full trailer and the Nintendo Direct on Nintendo's channel. And I would love to know if you've played any of the Yes games. Yes, I'm not sure. Let me know what you think about them because I have no previous experience with them whatsoever. Super Mario Odyssey is going to be getting free DLC. The key part being free. We're not going to be paying anything for this. We're going to get costumes. We're going to get filters for the snapshot mode. And above everything, I'm very excited, but also very skeptical about this. They're going to have 2 multiplayer modes that can only be played after you complete the story mode, not after you complete, and obtain all the stars. Just beat the main story and you get access to Luigi's Balloon World. And this is just around the corner. This is going to be coming out on the month of February. So the 2 modes are Hide It, which is you have balloons and you have 30 seconds to hide it and then somebody else has to find it. And then the other one is on the opposite side of the spectrum. It's the Find It mode where you go online and you have to find the people's balloons. Now, the trailer didn't go into detail as to what happens if we have 2 people in the same room. Like, could I hypothetically hide the balloon and do like a hide and go seek scenario and then another person tries to find it? Or even if it is online, are there private modes? So I can only do the balloon finding with my friends that I've added to my friends list. Because personally, I don't really care about finding balloons from other people. I love the idea that, somebody like Nicole or Taino or somebody can be like, hey man, I hit this balloon. Let's see how many days it takes you to find it. And it's like a week later, I still haven't found it. I don't know if it's just open world or if it's tied to something like, New Donk City and it's only there. So I'm ecstatic about this because it's also going to have an online ranking system, which I'm assuming it's why they're having it be so spread out, where it's not just your friends and it's not like both of you are there at the same time, but somebody places it and then the other game mode is where you find it. Now, with this thing in particular, I really want to get your feedback. Do you care about a game mode like this? How unexpected was this? I mean, out of all of the different multiplayer things that they could do, they could even done like an old school Mario versus Luigi type of thing, but no, now we're getting Balloon World. I'm excited. Plus, cost nothing. Before going any further, 2 things I'm just not going to really get to are the Pokken Tournament DLC and the SNK Heroines tag team game, just because they're 2 fighting games I personally don't really care about, but some people may be excited about that. If you do care about those, definitely let me know in the comments. Now, although I haven't played this one, I've heard many great things about Mario plus Rabbids, and it's going to be getting DLC in the form of Donkey Kong. He's going to be getting apparently his own story, and just first up, I hate how modern Donkey Kong sounds. He sounds like Scooby-Doo trying to do the sound of Donkey Kong, and it's annoying because I grew up playing, and this makes me feel old, but I remember my Donkey Kong. He was on the Super Nintendo, made by Rare, and he went like, and it's like, what does he do? Like, woohoo! Yeah, woohoo! It's like, if you put Mario and Scooby-Doo together, you get Donkey Kong and Nintendo. Nicole is shaking her head, and I'm right. It's Scooby-Doo and Mario. And why did I rename my wife Nintendo? Am I married to Reggie? Am I? Reggie, give me some free games, man. I'm mentioning this one just because I want to get your input, and the game is Payday 2. I do have it on PC, and it's a pretty cool game. It's had some questionable things with patches, especially on console. A lot of downloadable content that people are kind of like iffy about, and it's going to be coming out on February 27th. Now, the idea of a first-person shooter game that is co-op, that can be played with up to 3 friends on a local level, is very cool. I mean, think about it. You have a heist game, you have 4 switches, or you play online. There's a lot of good reasons to get a game like this now. Because it's the Nintendo Switch, I'm very skeptical and concerned about the performance of this game, whether or not it runs at least like a steady 30 frames, because I think first-person shooters have to have a steady frame rate. I don't care if it's 30 or 60, it just needs to be solid enough. They also announced 2 beautiful smaller titles that are going to be coming out to the Switch very soon. The first one being Faye, which is coming out on February 16th. Is that what's called Faye? Faye-Feb? I don't know. But this is a 3D indie platformer, and I love that thanks to the success of platformers like A Hat in Time and Super Mario Odyssey in 2016, as a result, we're getting a lot of these 3D platformers. We're long overdue. This one is lush, it's beautiful. I like the bloom effect that it has. We don't have a lot of information, but color me intrigued because apparently it has some kind of music element. In the trailer, they say, sing in tune with animals and plants to unlock new abilities. So is it kind of like Patapon where you got to like tap at a specific moment? I love that about Patapon, so I hope they implement that in some form with Faye. And I really like how the second one looks, which is going to be coming out on January 25th, and that is Celeste. The reason that this one is very important is not just because it's the sprite-based, beautiful-looking game as well that seems to be sort of Metroidvania-esque. It's that this game actually has an assist mode, because traditionally games like this that are Metroidvania, people are very scared because of how difficult they can be, the backtracking and stuff like that. And in the trailer, they revealed there is an assist mode that it goes as far as giving you invincibility if you choose to. So you can play the entire game, never die, have a great experience, enjoy the music, enjoy the graphics, and enjoy the gameplay. And who knows, a title like this, with its accessibility, can actually open up Pandora's box for a non-gamer to not get frustrated. And eventually, they may actually be interested in playing something like Metroid or Castlevania or any of the 1,000 Metroidvania-like games. Now this one, I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was only a matter of time, and some people aren't happy because they already had it, but I don't care. I'm ecstatic. I never played this. This is Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and it's making its way to the Nintendo Switch on May 4th. Now, this game actually does also have an assist mode. Funky Kong is playable in the game, and I love how they did this. Like, he is badass. You look at him and like he can't be killed by spikes. He's got his board on him the whole time, and it's really just a way to mask the fact that you can barely die, and it's going to be a lot easier. I've heard many people say that this is one of the most difficult Donkey Kong Country games, so I can see why they would maybe introduce something like this when you're going to have millions of brand new players that haven't played even maybe the Wii and the Wii U games, and now they're going to get their hands on this. And you can challenge yourself with the traditional characters, or you can play as Funky Kong. And the other cool thing is that you can play co-op by splitting the Joy-Cons and just using those controllers, or I'm assuming like many other games, they're going to let you use the Pro Controller and just the Joy-Cons separately, so you're not just using the tiny little thing, which is honestly quite uncomfortable. And we did not get any footage for this one, but Dark Souls Remastered. It was announced today for pretty much everything, but most importantly, it's going to be coming out to the Switch, and this is huge because think of the popularity the games like Bloodborne and Dark Souls have, and now maybe people can slowly start to relive all these games on the Nintendo Switch. Maybe eventually we do get Dark Souls 2 and 3 too, and now this is not too far off because it's going to be coming out on May 25th, so it's only a couple months away, so I'm surprised it didn't showcase any footage. I'm assuming it's only going to be a matter of time, much like the other games. I'm just worried about the performance part of things. And the last thing I want to talk about this as a whole is that I was very happy with this Nintendo Direct Mini because, as I mentioned, I never owned a Wii U, so many of these games, it's going to be my first time ever playing them. You do have the smaller games that are platformed with Celeste and Faye. You do have DLC for games that people loved in 2017. You're going to be having a re-release in Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, but who knows, maybe that sells enough that they actually go ahead and make another Donkey Kong game. And if you look, I think it's very strategic. They called it a Nintendo Direct Mini, which leads me to believe that we're not going to be too far off from another Nintendo Direct, not too far down the line. We should have all of these games in our shelf by June at the latest. considering some of them just have the tentative spring title. So this opens up the door for a lot of possibilities around E3 with future Nintendo Directs. So out of all of these different games, which is the announcement that has you excited the most, and which is the one that has you excited the least? Easily for me, it's Donkey Kong Country, and then the other one has got to be Payday 2 for the lesser one. So folks, if you like this video, if you like what I do, definitely hit a huge thumbs up, subscribe, hit that notifications icon, and check out everything else that I have going on in the channel. Most recently, I put up a PS3 collections video, so I go over all of the games that are right up above here. I have some recent pickups video, and stay tuned because in 2 weeks time, we're officially going to be announcing the first game for the Game Club. So you want to check out our Discord channel over at press-pause.net/Discord. It's going to be like a book club for games with all of the community combined into one location, and we're gonna have that awesome experience. The hint for that game, it is a classic Zelda themed game. So that has been it, and never forget folks that this video has concluded, but the epic journey definitely continues. Thanks for watching, gang. Take care.